Hello and welcome to this week's 2-Minute Parsha. Last week in Parshas Devarim we were discussing the review that Moshe Rabbeinu was going over with Klal Yisrael before he dies, what happened in the past 40 years. In this week, Parshas Va'eschanan, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to continue with that review, but first he davens to Hashem, he prays and requests that he's allowed to enter into Eretz Yisrael himself. Hashem denies that request and asks Moshe Rabbeinu to please stop praying. After this, Moshe reminds us, he tells Klal Yisrael that we have a higher moral code, a spiritual code, obligation. We heard and we saw at Har Sinai what no other nation, no other people have ever seen before us. And we have to live up to those higher standards. We may not worship idolatry, and we have a chiyuv. We must keep the Torah and the mitzvahs of Hashem. Moshe says that if we have failed to keep the Torah and mitzvahs, this will result in exile and suffering for our nation. But he says, Hashem will never forget the promise that he gave to our forefathers that we are the chosen nation and that we will, in the end, everything will be good. Then Moshe says that if we do keep the mitzvahs, then we will be blessed and we will be successful in the land of Israel. After this, Moshe set aside the three Ori Miklot, the three cities of refuge in Transjordan, in the lands of Reuven, Gad, and half of Shevet Menashe. Then Moshe reminds them that they personally saw Hashem and heard Hashem at Har Sinai, and he goes through the Aseret HaDibros, the 10 Commandments. Moshe says that in order to always remember and to keep the Torah and mitzvahs, every Jew must say Shema, repeat the pasuk Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, twice a day, must wear tefillin, and must also have a mezuzah on the doorpost of their houses, in order to keep the Torah close to our hearts. Finally, Moshe warns Klal Yisrael of the comforts and the dangers of the comforts that living in Eretz Yisrael, in Israel, will lead. Firstly, the prosperity will lead to not remembering Hashem, and then intermingling with the Goyim may lead to intermarriage. Moshe warns them that they must trust in Hashem, and they must pass on our heritage and our history and everything that happened in the past 40 years, and that we got the mitzvahs to future generations. Moshe also says that we must keep our distance from Gentiles and not to get too friendly. In summary, in this week's Parsha, first Moshe was denied entry into Eretz Yisrael. Then Moshe reminds Klal Yisrael of the rewards of success, the punishments of failure to keep the Torah and mitzvahs. After that, Moshe set aside the three cities of refuge in Transjordan, Ever HaYarden. Then Moshe gives us the mitzvah of Krishma, Tefillin, and Mezuzah. And finally, Moshe Rabbeinu warns us of the dangers of mingling with the Goyim and prosperity in Eretz Yisrael. Have a good Shabbos. See you all next week.